Welcome to r/True Off My Chest, where we have a story that brings me to tears. I found out about my dad's first family, and I finally get why he acts the way that he does. My dad has been very protective of me and my little sister all of our lives. He's always been really kind and thoughtful, but there's always been a sadness that I couldn't figure out. Like, he'll smile and laugh, but underneath it, there was something that was always eating away at him. We were never allowed to play outside as kids without being in his direct line of sight, and as we got older, he became more stressful. He hated the idea of us driving and insisted on taking us everywhere. And now that I'll be going to college, he won't let me get a car even though I've been saving up for it. Sometimes it was really frustrating not being able to hang out with friends, and we fought over it a lot. Now I understand why he wants to protect us. Yesterday, my sister and I were in the basement doing laundry, and we decided to snoop around our old things. We came across an old, dusty box and found old DVDs, tapes, and photos. We looked at the photos first, and it was our dad while he was in college. For context, we live on the East Coast, and our dad went to college in California in the 90s. We were always told that our parents were high school sweethearts who made it work long distance since my dad got a really good scholarship out west. Then he came back to the East Coast, they dated more, got married, had me, and the rest is history. At least we thought it was. We looked through the first bundle of pics, and they were cool at first. It was pictures of him and his friends at the beach in my dad's old Mercedes wagon that he had when we were little. But there was this one girl who kept appearing in all the pictures. The pictures got more intimate, with them cuddling in a dorm room or laying on grass. At first, this was a shocker, since Dad was supposed to still be with Mom. We picked up another album, and our hearts dropped. It was a wedding ceremony, but my mom wasn't the person putting a ring on my dad's finger. It was this very pretty Asian woman instead of our mom. The other photos of the wedding were people that we never knew or seen before. The album kept going, and we saw them move into a home and celebrate holidays. Suddenly, in one of these pictures, the woman that we knew nothing about was holding a baby bump, which flipped our world upside down. We stopped looking at the pictures and just sat in silence. There was a possibility that we had a sibling out there that we never even knew about. We brought the box upstairs and looked through it more. We found baby toys and stuffed animals and more pictures and videotapes. One of the DVDs was addressed to my dad from his wife as a birthday gift in 2002. We put it in our Xbox and watched it. It was like a compilation of home movies they'd made. The background song was Real Love by the Beatles, and the video was just showing my dad's first family. He was playing with this baby boy on the beach and carrying him like Superman in a park. His smile was different too. He seemed so carefree and happy. He was making silly faces and doing these dance moves that he never did with us. And there was his wife, who played the guitar for our brother, and he sat there clapping his hands. The video ended of her and our brother blowing our dad a kiss and wishing him happy birthday. Our dad got home from our grandparents' house, and we asked him what all this was about. At first he got angry, and then he broke down crying, which made me feel like garbage. I never wanted to hurt him, but to not know that we had a brother in the moment hurt too. After a couple of hours on the couch and trying to help him, we finally found out what he never told us. My dad met this girl in freshman year of college, and they hit it off pretty quick. They were madly in love for 4 years, and after graduation got married really young. After a couple of months, she got pregnant, and with her parents' help, they bought a home together. Our brother, George, was born in the year 2000, 5 years before me. They named him George Harrison because they loved the Beatles, and that's how they first connected at school during a party. They had 2 happy years until our brother and his mom were killed in a car accident while my dad was at work. He didn't find out until he got home, and his father-in-law was there crying his eyes out on the front porch. Dad fell into a depression for months and eventually lost his job and the house. He moved back east, and after a while, he reconnected with our mom, whom he dated in high school. Eventually, I came along, and they both promised to not speak about this because it was too painful for him. We all cried until... Jeez. Okay. Man, this story is choking me up a little bit. Okay, I gotta take a break. Okay, I had to take a step away for a second, have a glass of water, try to make my heart calm down. Let's give this another try. We all cried until Mom got home, and she knew the moment she entered the living room why. We all sat and watched the DVD together and held him tight as he let it all out. Oh man, this is rough. He eventually started to smile and told us all sorts of wonderful things about our baby brother. I know it's not closure for him, but I saw on his face watching the video that same sense of joy in the old pictures of him. Now we keep a picture of our brother on the mantle, and we're gonna visit his grave in the summer. I just wanted to get that off my chest for now. It's just a lot to find out, and writing helps me feel better. Oh man, that was a rough one to get through. Okay, so if the brother was probably about 3 or 4 and he was born in 2000, then that means that this man has been suppressing the secret from his family for about 20 years. Oh, I gotta stop talking about this story because it's making me tear up. Ever since my sister met her partner, it's like autism is her only defining feature. My sister is autistic. She was diagnosed when she was 16. She's 24 now, and she moved out when she was 18 and was completely self-sufficient. She was in college full-time, working 2 jobs, and she had a great social life. She was just a typical teenage girl living on her own. Her being autistic was like a passing comment. She ate like a toddler and cried if you washed her clothes in the wrong detergent, but it wasn't really a big deal. She met her partner 3 years ago. He's nice and pretty well put together. He's one of those people that everyone just loves. He's also autistic, but doesn't seem like he's autistic like she does. They moved in together after a couple of months, and since then, it's like she's losing herself to her diagnosis. Her boyfriend is king of accommodation. He prepares all of her favorite food exactly how she likes it. If we go out as a family, he scans the menu, and if there isn't something that she'll eat, he'll tell everyone that they aren't going. Previously, she would come and just try something else. He has this whole sensory room in their apartment for her. I guess he uses it too, but it's clearly meant for her. She has a little schedule board on their kitchen wall. And even things like family get-togethers. Previously, she would sit through them just fine. Now, the second she gets uncomfortable, she tells him and he whisks her away. She's also now partially verbal and has non-speaking episodes, which she's never had before. She'll give him a little tap and he'll talk for her. I feel like I'm going crazy. This can't be normal. How is she suddenly autism personified? No one else in the family seems to be worried. She's happy and healthy and still working, so they're all acting like this is normal. This is weird, right? It's not just me. If I try to talk to her about it, she tells me that she's happy and it's just as much for him as it is her. But I don't know, I feel weird about it. Okay, so I personally don't have a lot of experience with people with autism. So I genuinely can't tell if this is a controlling and potentially abusive boyfriend, or if this is just a boyfriend who deeply understands her needs and is allowing her to be her true self for the first time. You know, maybe she's partially nonverbal now because secretly she always wanted to be partially nonverbal, but she couldn't because she couldn't get away with it in the past. But now that she has someone who understands and speaks for her, she likes it. Or it's abuse. I really don't know. Okay, down in the comments, people are saying that OP's sister was probably masking, which is when you pretend to be fine when secretly you're not. And now that she has her boyfriend, she can basically be who she wants to be. So I guess this is a sweet story about a really caring and devoted boyfriend. Our next Reddit post is from Obvious Muscle. I watched my best friend passionately hug his girlfriend, and it forever changed me. I'm a 42-year-old guy, and I've been best friends with Jay, who's 43, since we were kids. We've been inseparable since we met. I love this guy so much. I'm an only child, so I see him as my brother. I take a bullet for him, and he says that he feels the same way about me. Don't be weird, guys. We're just friends. There's nothing wrong with 2 grown men being best friends and expressing their emotions. Anyway, here's some context. I've always been more of a ladies' man. I'm much more outgoing. I've never been interested in anything serious. I've never had a girl hurt me, I just never cared too much. I'm not a scumbag or anything, I just want to have fun. Jay is the opposite in every way. He's always been really shy and introverted. He's great though, funny, stable, probably the most thoughtful guy, and no matter what he thinks, he is not bad looking. He's just so insecure. And he's my boy. I've always hyped him up, but it's who he is. Plus, he had one girlfriend who really broke his heart, and he hasn't been the same since. A year or so ago, he met Ella, who's 32. He fell for this girl hard. It's easy to see why. She's drop-dead gorgeous and really cool. He was too scared to make a move for a long time. Long story short, they're living together, and I'm really happy for him. She's perfect for him. Fun, outgoing, she brings out the good stuff in him. So, this is the part that you've been waiting for. I was supposed to come over to his place to hang. I was running errands, but I finished earlier. I went over to his place about 45 minutes early. I knocked, and he didn't answer, but I knew that he was home. The spare key wasn't in its normal spot, so I walked around back, which isn't weird for us. We always walk into each other's houses. Sometimes he'll be at my home when I'm not even there. We're cool like that. He has a big sliding door that leads to the kitchen, which is always unlocked. I saw them immediately. They were going at it on the countertop. I feel totally guilty for noticing, but she had an incredible body. I was shocked, like deer in headlights. I was gonna leave, but I couldn't stop watching. I didn't mean to be a creep, I swear. It was just like something out of a rom-com. They were so passionate. I still can't get over the way that she was looking at him. They were so into each other. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had good, passionate hugging before. I've dated beautiful women, not to brag. But I don't think I've ever experienced something like that. It kind of made my heart hurt. I don't know how else to say it. It made me realize that I want someone to love me that way. I've never felt lonely before. I've never once thought that I would be the kind of guy who wanted a wife. But now I kinda do. I want what they have. Anyway, I left. I didn't want to spoil their moment. I came back 45 minutes later and he was in such a good mood. And then OP posted an update. I told Jay about it. I just couldn't keep it a secret. He was a bit embarrassed about it at first, but then we laughed about it. Like I said, we grew up together and we were roommates for a while. We have seen some stuff, lol. He did say that maybe they shouldn't have passionately hugged somewhere so visible if they didn't want to be seen. Yeah, the neighbors have a full view. I promised to buy them curtains for Christmas. We did agree, like some of you mentioned, that even though Jay and I have a close relationship, I don't have that kind of relationship with Ella. I will definitely be calling first from now on. He also said that he's really happy for me, and he hopes that I can find that kind of relationship too. Imagine being so good at passionate hugging that not only do you change the life of the person you're doing it with, but you also change the life of anyone who happens to be walking by. Our next Reddit post is from Throwaway Anxious Bed. Yesterday we had dinner with my sister and her husband, and we had a lot to drink. After my sister and her husband left, my husband and I passionately hugged. Neither of us were tired, so we continued drinking a bit of wine, listening to music in the background, and everything was amazing, or so I thought. My husband was smiling and in a good mood. He's always like that when he drinks. We talked about my sister and her husband. And suddenly he said, "I'm so in love with your sister." I said, "What?" He said, "I'm so desperately in love with your sister. What I would do to taste her lips. She's brilliant." He looked dreamy and was still smiling. I said, "How drunk are you?" And he said, "Probably plenty." I was drunk too, but it still hit me like a ton of bricks. I just sat there silent, and he too was in his own world with a smile etched on his face, and he looked like he was a million miles away. I went to bed. This morning, all the memories came rushing back, and now that I'm not drunk, it hit me even more what he said. I'm horrified, and my heart is in pieces. He hasn't mentioned anything and is acting normal, apart from his hangover. I don't know what to do now. He's always had a good relationship with my sister with mutual respect. Should I ignore his drunken comments? Was that just him being drunk? Should I wait for him to start talking? I'm not sure if he even remembers. What about the intercourse we just had? Something was different, and even though I loved it, I thought that it was one of the best times of my life. He was different, passionate, tender, and loving, and he kept saying, "I love you, you're brilliant." And then 3 days later, OP posted an update. I talked to my husband. He said that he didn't remember a lot about that night, especially after my sister and her husband left and we continued drinking. I told him what he said, and he didn't look shocked or surprised, just that he didn't remember saying anything. I asked him if he felt that way before we started drinking. He said that he's always loved my sister because she's kind and warm. Then he said that he thought she looked very beautiful during dinner, and probably his drunken self thought that she was hot. He said that it's normal that people are curious about the opposite gender. He said that he always thought that she's beautiful because all my family is good looking, but her recent weight loss gave her confidence and she looked happy and he was happy for her. I asked him if he could choose between us, and he was shocked and said that I was his wife and the mother of his children, and he loved me. So then I asked him, if he just met both of us for the first time, and I wasn't his wife and she wasn't married, which one of us would he pick? He said that this was getting ridiculous, and he hated playing hypothetical games because people get worked up fighting about things that aren't reality. After dinner, he said that he loved me very much and he's happy, and I shouldn't overthink what he said when he was too drunk to even know who or where he was. But I'm just not sure. OP, I've gotten pretty drunk around my wife before, and never once have I drunkenly confessed my love to another woman multiple times. So, if you ask me, I don't know if there's any coming back from this. That was r/Drew Off My Chest, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.